Thanks, work computer.
Very nice.
There we go. Lean into it. Good morning. Yeah.
How many votes do you think the cell phone towers are going to get?
That's zero.
You going
predicted zero?
All right.
Nobody voted for cell phone tower. And even trolls would stoop that low. It's funny, they're gonna have cell phone coverage on like out on Gunflint Lake before they're gonna have it at the house here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's no cell phone coverage on the Cadence River. But yeah, the entire like east section, the whole Boundary Waters is gonna get it before our house. That's fine. I have Wi-Fi. I don't need it.
Maybe not the Vento.
Rat. The Rat Tower. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Nobody's commenting anything. Anybody there? It's on a noon on a Monday?
There's 9 people watching.
Doesn't you have jobs?
No, nobody has jobs anymore.
This is my weekend, to be fair.
Well,
I do have a job.
I've been on a weekend since edibles for lunch, maybe? Maybe after.
Yeah.
Comment. Thank you.
Woo.
All right. I'm going to start the actual podcast here. You're getting a couple of seconds, you 12 motherfuckers, on a Monday before the actual podcast starts. Let's do it.
Woke up. I sprang out of bed. It's excited this morning to find out the results. I was up until midnight, but I did not look.
I think it's your
no peekers.
I think it's your turn to bring us in there, brother.
Welcome to Tumble Home Sports Network, bringing you first round coverage of the Tumble tournament. This is Tumble Home, a Boundary Waters podcast, coming to you from Studio K at the Sports Desk. Welcome, Eric.
Welcome, Adam. This is one of my favorite days of the year, not gonna lie.
This is almost better than Christmas, waking up knowing you get to look at the first round results at noon and see how the people voted. I did vote. I made my votes pretty early. I wish I would have waited a little bit, and then I later filled out my whole bracket. So we're going to be making our predictions today, and then going through the results bracket by bracket, starting in Remix and the West. And second half of the show will be Atacocan and the East.
We are sponsored, as always, by our fine friends on Patreon. Thank you, patrons. There's some of you out there. Thank you. And some of you also out there. Thank you. Stay tuned. This week, we're going to be talking about Jeremiah Johnson. That should be a fun one. I'm basically just looking forward to reviewing the meme nod.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
The most satisfying nod. I think he sees a wild critter. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
I've seen Jeremiah Johnson once.
Yeah, I've seen it once.
I'm looking forward to revisiting it.
For sure. We're getting together on Thursday for that. Have you watched it yet? Or are you still
No.
You're going to plan it for this week?
I'm going to plan. I usually like to try to watch it as close to the actual conversation.
All right. Before we get into the Tumble tournament, we should thank our sponsors and thank everybody on Reddit and Facebook for participating in the voting as well.
Yeah, we
shout out to all the voters.
A really good turnout, almost close to 275 votes in some.
Yeah, I can look at last year's, but I think it was more like a couple hundred, maybe 115 votes for the really hot matchups. But so it seems like we have a lot more votes this year.
Well, it's growing. I can only imagine us in 5 years where we'll have the CBS level graphics with like the
Yes.
like CGI actual breakdown and matchup like votes. Like we'll eventually by that time we will need a producer to help us, but
yeah, we were talking before the show about like future studio plans and ideas. We've got to get more cameras, going big time. Maybe more microphones.
Yeah, we're definitely
more hair product.
Definitely more hair product. I mean, I've got a whole shipment of hair product on its way.
Might have to get more than one tie.
You can look forward to that. I'm in my my blue and green. Last week I was in the blue and blue. And I had a suit jacket on, but it's like 50 degrees out there.
Yeah, it's way too hot for a blazer today. I'm wearing the same wool flannel and dark green tie, which you can barely see.
Yeah.
I did change my glasses up since I only have one tie. I had to switch something. And then since I'm not wearing the blazer, we got the TSN logo right on the microphone here. That's classy.
Yeah.
What's our beer sponsor of the week here?
We've got some nice midday vanilla porters from Breckenridge Brewery, also from Allie. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you, Allie. If you can't get your vanilla from Madagascar, you want to get it from Breckenridge.
Oh,
that's where you wear the big glasses. You never know. You got to have eye safety first. Where'd that one go?
I feel like that bounced off of the bracket and then disappeared.
Anybody confirm where that second one went on the video feed? I did not see it.
It never came down.
Freakish.
Well, cheers, my good man. Thanks, Allie. This is the greatest time of year, if you ask me.
Yeah, really nice out there today. Like, borderline ridiculous. Saw a comment that said, seasonal affective disorder, it's hard to understand until like you get that first 50-degree or 40-degree sunny day.
Yeah,
you just feel like the most amazing you can as a human.
I know. I was out just getting a little bit of wood ready.
Basking.
For a beach. We're having a Gitchy Goomy beach fire this evening. And I was getting the wood prepared for that. And I was just out in a t-shirt and the sun was like,
is Jackie Treehorn coming?
Got some heat. I hope so.
Carries a lot of weight in this town.
Well, apparently in the chat, Christian says that he voted about 8 times on Lake Trout. I did set it up so that the IP address locked after one vote, but I'm sure there's ways around
game the
that.
system.
Oh, I'm sure. You can go to a public library. You can just you drive down to the Twin Cities and just go to a bunch of different public libraries.
Wow, no.
Well, that's why there's never ever going to be any monetary betting on this until we get it.
Right, we got to secure the server in the new studio. We'll get a new server going there on its own grid.
Yeah.
Huh.
Potential shenanigans. Maybe we're too big for just the.
Anybody knows you can go into incognito browser and vote as many times as you want. Nobody, the government can't see. We can't see. Nobody can see what's going on in incognito mode. You don't need a VPN.
Stop the steal.
What? So that's why we got so many votes. People are just tripling up. Well, I only voted twice, so I'm doing my part. I'm playing by the rules.
Well, as soon as we can't trust our listeners to play fairly, it's as soon as this tournament dies.
Your hair is looking great, Eric. So I mean, who cares what the results are? As long as I get together and have a nice sip of beer on a beautiful spring day in the North Shore, and do our hair up nice, and once in a while put on a collared shirt. It's a great feeling. We want to get into the action, and but before we do that, we got to talk about our predictions. We're going to do our predictions for each section, then reveal the results, which we have not looked at. Eric's going to read from the West, and I'm going to read the East results. So I do, right before we hit record, I pulled that up on my phone, and I didn't look at it yet. So last year we knew ahead what was happening in the first round, and you could tell it wasn't as exciting. So I can't wait to see what everybody voted for. Are we going to talk about our Final Four predictions right now? Or I think we should wait. We can say like if our Final Four team went out or advanced.
Oh, sure, we can say that.
I guess only if they go out.
Only if they go out. I think we should just do each round at a time as we do it. So before we actually get into the results, we'll say what our predictions were for each, for Remix, for Isabella, and then
four predictions now that the first round is out there.
Yeah, we got a lot of first round or Final Four predictions and champ predictions, and I got a nice handful of like full brackets, the PDF that I linked.
Yeah.
So we'll pay attention to both of those.
I printed mine out on the work printer, and it like cut off half of the first round on each side. But I think I know what's going on.
Just we don't want to get too bogged down in Reddit memes or posts, but we do have to shout out Cheap Dancer for the 5-12 matchup meme that was created. If you can't decide, you can choose Cough Eye.
Cough Eye.
Cough Eye.
That was definitely the hottest matchup out there. Everywhere I was looking, people were talking about coffee versus walleye. And can't wait to see how that one pans out. We're not going to find that one out till late in the show. That's over at the Ambrose Homestead. Boy, that's a tough one. I don't even know which way I voted. Honestly, I think I changed my mind about 5 times.
I did too. I feel like we've got a much better bracket that you just like last year. So many of them were like, well, of course. But this year there is at least 10 matchups where it's like, yikes, this is going to be a crazy tourney. Let's get into it.
We got somebody calling for the meat. Help. We need more meat.
Hey, we can do whatever we want. Last week, somebody told us to move it along.
Hurry it up. I got to get back to my break.
Yeah.
It's over.
All right.
I'm going to give this vanilla porter, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. That's 4 of them.
Somebody suggested on the chat that the cap that I popped hit the winner.
Wow.
So
huge and true. Cool. Very cool.
Somebody's new to the channel. What is this tourney in short?
Oh, gosh.
Well, you should just go back and...
just buckle up. Buckle up, buckaroo. We're going. You're about to find out what this is all about.
Well,
It's about the greatest things in the boundary waters. And how do we value that? How do you value these things? Just they're all in the realm of the boundary waters, not necessarily things you would take. There's sometimes ideas as well.
I love the response. Just started episode 1.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Well, here we go. I am excited. Let's do it. We're starting in Remix and the upper west bracket. I'm pretty much all chalk up here.
Are you?
I went Northern Lights, tents, edibles, and WA Fisher maps.
The only difference for me is I went with Long Johns over tents and the hashtag dirty pillows. I don't want anything to do with the tents. I like Long Johns on every trip at some point, but you don't need a tent for a trip. Natalie said I was a fool to go against the tents, though, and I will probably regret that decision.
Okay, well, no question about Northern Lights versus the cell phone towers. 282 to 5.
5 people did it.
5 trolls out there. I see you. We've got Northern Lights moving on. They will meet in the second round. 210 to 75. The tents move on.
Yes.
No surprise there. I don't know. There was some questions as to whether or not there was a lot of confusion in some regards as to some of these teams. We'll get to some of the other ones later.
What was the confusion on Long Johns? People thought it was a donut?
Yeah.
No. Come on. Thermal base layers.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, no. My Deep Runner Edibles goes down to Headlamps. 182 to 104.
Well, pretty good matchup there. 182 to 104 though, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Headlamps are moving on. I had edibles as well, but I didn't have them going very deep. Just one of the edibles around for the first night around the campfire was my idea, but not surprised to see the edibles go. We got a lot of stand-up listeners that they're not a bunch of scofflaws out there. Dabbling in illegal substances, so good for you. Clean living. Hashtag clean living. And you can see at night with a headlamp.
It's our first upset of the tournament. Only 3 games in, and it wasn't even close. Last year, I feel like we had a number of votes that resulted in like realistic NCAA tournament basketball scores.
Yeah.
I love the fact that there are more votes this year, but it seems like a little crazy. The scores, like 210 to 75 would be an insane basketball game.
Yeah, well, there's a 5-point line too. Wow.
Yes.
Way deep. Raining them in. So that was a big upset, I guess. I don't know. Edibles had a high seed, but they're also very highly ranked all year. So I don't know what the selection committee is supposed to do with that information. They had a great season. They're going home early. They just they laid down by the fire and they just went to sleep.
Yeah, I mean,
good night, sweet prince.
We've got some potential brackets being busted. I know I'm missing out on. I had the edibles into the second round, into the Sweet 16 even. So that's not happening. Moving on, the 4 versus 13 matchup, WA Fisher Maps. The Maps are back. They made a Final Four run last year.
Yeah, they sure did.
Ousting Charlie Boostrom in the second round, a classic matchup, a big upset.
It's a big reason why the humans are still in quarantine.
Yeah,
that matchup right there.
Yeah, they're going up against the Border Route Trail. First time in the tournament for the BRTs.
Happy to be here.
They go down 212-70. WA Fisher Maps still gets the love from the voters.
Yeah, I love it. It's the classic stupid yellow countryside and light blue waters of the Fisher Maps.
Yeah, I don't need a realistic map. I'm living in the realism. I could go for a little bit of cartoonish colors on my maps to make it pop. Get those grays, beiges, and off blues
Yeah,
out
why don't
of here,
they make
Mackenzie?
a map in like a day glow, aesthetic?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fisher. We need the psychedelic line of maps. Yes? Yes?
Yes. Well, I want 3 for 4 in Remix.
Living. That's that clean living in Remix. That's funny, though, too. It's in Remix. Actually, the edibles are legal. I didn't even put this together until now. It would have been fine. You're not a scofflaw if you're doing edibles in Remix, turns out, but still. You want to have a headlamp on a trip. I'm not shocked. The headlamps had a great tournament last year.
Yep.
Not surprised to see them moving on. Great job, headlamps.
Moving down
Light the way. How many different little jingles can we have in one show? We're going to find out. That's 4.
Light the way. They are lighting the way. I see a very interesting matchup in the second round. We'll hold our thoughts on second round matchups until we get through some of these results. Moving into Isabella. I'm still all chalk in Isabella. 6 gravity filter, 3 camp chair, 7 fresh blueberries, and 2 skinny dipping were my predictions.
I have one difference on you there, and it's in that 6-11. I'm going with the slip bobbers. Bobber down. Bobber down. Otherwise, I've also gone with the favorites camp chair, fresh blueberries, and skinny dipping.
I feel like
the dead calm reflection is just too pure for this tournament.
Hydration Ace is underrepresented. They're going to latch on to the gravity filters. I see them actually going deep.
There's a lot of good water in a blueberry and in skinny dipping. You just take a drink while you're skinny dipping.
Yeah.
You don't need that filter.
Mm-hmm.
Just shed your earthly possessions and jump in the lake.
The 6-11 matchup, gravity filter versus slip bobber. The gravity filters are moving on 215-67.
No.
We haven't had too many close matchups up to this point.
67? Only 67 for the slip bobbers. So
only 67.
Well, 2 of them were mine, so that's not good.
2 of them were yours. You just called yourself.
I'm allowed to vote twice.
Cheater.
I'm allowed to vote twice. I'm a fat cat.
Moving down.
That's bad. That's really bad for me. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I had the slip bobbers going quite deep.
Oof.
Not good. All right.
All right, moving on.
With it. You're right.
Camp chair went out early last year. The chairs are back in this year as a 3 seed, going up against not only the cedar kindling, but cedar as a whole.
Yeah, you got the kindling, the whole log, the greenery.
The greenery?
The bark?
The just looking to freshen up your hands after a dirty Quetico non-brown volcano trench experience. You just grab one of those little tufts off of a cedar and ball it up in your hands. Fresh as a daisy. Unfortunately, back-to-back first-round exits for the Cedars. Camp chair moves on 169-115.
That was a pretty close one.
Closest one yet, I believe.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, good to see it. The chairs through. I had that. I'm really interested to see how many votes the Dead Calm Reflections are going to get here against Blueberries. This is a very whimsical matchup in the 7-10.
Sit down, Cedars. Yeah, no, this
make a bench out of them.
I think this next 7-10 matchup was the toughest for me to decide. I went back and forth. I could see it going either way, but I do have faith in the fresh blueberries.
Scotty Baldwin on the chat saying, yeah, the snapping cedar like definitely puts burn holes in chairs too. Didn't think of that.
Yeah, it is a wily firewood.
It is. It's one of my favorites, but it is wily.
I voted for fresh blueberries in this one, and I had them going into the Sweet 16. I will be disappointed.
No, they're gone.
The Dead Calm Reflections move on 185 to 99. Interesting.
Tranquility.
Very interesting. I believe you set this up last week in what a matchup potentially in the second round between Dead Calm Reflections and Skinny Dipping.
Yes. Oh, yes. Can't have them both. Only one can survive that matchup. I hope Skinny Dipping makes it through against the Reflections.
Dead Calm Reflections.
All right.
Moving on to meet. Yes, they will meet number 2, Skinny Dipping. They took care of the Red Squirrels 219 to 64. That should be an interesting second round matchup. I could see a deep run from the DCRs at this point. They are just so that you can't rattle them. There's no rattle. If they're going to get rattled, they will be rattled by the Skinny Dippers, though.
Yeah, that's maybe you could say they can resist. They repel wind almost.
Yeah.
When somebody wants to get nude and go in the lake, there's almost no force in nature that can repel that kind of excitement.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's that's going to be a real championship battle in the second round. I think either of those teams have a real solid chance of getting into the Sweet 16. So yeah, I went. I only missed 2.
I only got 4 right.
Whoa!
I got 4 right, and I lost an Elite 8 team in Slip Bobber. Gone is the Slip Bobbers. At least I didn't have them going to the Final Four, but boy, oh boy, that was foolish to go against the Hydration Nation.
It's a tough first round matchup.
Yeah, it was.
Gravity filters.
I'm a little surprised they only got 67 votes, but that's going to be just fine. I didn't lose a Final Four team, and there's other ways to catch fish. There are.
There is, sure. So, do we want to get into our predictions in the Minto USA?
Minto.
Not quite as chalky for me down here. I've got, of course, the bag of wine taken care of. There is definitely a little bit of an online. I'm not going to lie. I saw a couple of green-eared sunfish in the Final Four on some of the Final Four predictions that I saw. Yeah. I was like, all right, cool.
I can't be upset about that.
No,
I'm not on board with that, but I'm not going to be upset to see my buddies, the green-eared sunfish.
Who did you go with in the 8-9 matchup?
In the 8-9, what do we got? Svensaw versus Loon Call over there, and I have Loon Call.
As do I.
I had Loon Call, so I went with the 9 again there. And but the Svensaws had a really nice tournament last year, and they are actually one of the few things that remain in Tumble Home in the board game. You can still select a Svensaw. So it was hard for me to vote against them.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, last year it was just Camp Saw. They kind of got split up into 2 different kinds of we've got the Svens and the Silky Boys.
We do have another saw out there. 2 saws coming out of the Edged Blade conference this year. May have split the saw vote.
Could have.
Or unified it. We'll find out real quick. What is the score?
Well,
I'm sorry. We're going through the rest of this, and then we're finding out the score.
Correct. And then
Get it together.
I have the Hammocks in the 5-12 against the Owls. And then I've got Brule Lake upsetting the Chacos because it didn't sound like... Well, it sounded like one person thought that Chacos was a version of a cheese taco.
I wish. If there was such a thing, I would know about it.
Yeah.
It would include cottage cheese as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a rock fact.
I think last year's example was the Cubans.
The Cubans. People thought we were smoking stogies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got to, I guess, do better at really articulating what exactly we're talking about.
I don't know how you can articulate it any more than putting the hashtag wetfooters after Chacos.
And we had the live show. Explain what long johns are.
Right.
It's a thermal base layer.
Thermal base layer.
I guess we're going to be shivering in our tents tonight by our dirty pillows, Eric. Let's see here. I did have the bag of wine over the green-eared sunfish. I went with loon call, as I've already said, hammocks over owls, and I went with chacos. I'm having a bit of I'm coming around to it. The voters showed me the way last year, and Wetfoot Nash will be coming out strong for the chacos. I should have made that my lock of the week. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Oh, I should have said my lock of the week was Cha-Chunk. Locked in. I picked the gravity filter. Where's your big lock? Next week, you got to get a big lock.
I will bring a lock next week.
Just for the visual aspect.
Wait, what was yours? So too busy doing lock noises.
Gravity filter.
You made it through. Wow. So Slip Bob had no chance. It was up against the locker. All right. Yeah. I'm pretty confident in Chacos over Brule Lake, much as I love the Brule Eye.
Well, let's get into it. I'm sure. Yes, Bag of Wine moves on. 210. Green-eared Sunfish had 71 votes.
Strong.
It's a strong showing from a 16 seed. A little feisty. The Piranhas of the North, they are called. Beware in the future the green-eared mythical sunfish.
Yeah, if they're so strong, then how come nobody ever has video or pictures of them?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a smartphone these days.
Good question. The Svensa destroyed as an 8 seed. Loon calls. 218 to 63.
Yeah.
I feel there's a lot of love for the Loon calls. That second round matchup versus Bag of Wine could be a tough one.
Loon call won?
Loon call 218. Svensa 63.
Oh, I just crossed Loon call off. I thought you said it the other way.
No. Loon calls move on. The first of the edged weapons. Down.
Nice.
Moving down to the 5-12 matchup. Unfortunately, the Strigiforms, though they did have some late season publicity, go down to the Hammocks. 190 Hammocks, 92 Owls. They will meet up with, wow. The closest matchup thus far, Chacos move on by the skin of their toe strap. 140 to 137. My.
Good thing I voted.
Good Lord.
Wow, that's why everybody's got to vote. That was definitely, I don't see another one being that close.
That's why you play the game.
Footers. Oh yeah, they're going through. Wowee.
Yeah. Chacos move on. They don't even have the advantage of being included with Chaco Tiva Keens like they were last year. It's just the Chacos.
Yeah, well, Tiva and Keen graduated and went across the Rainbow Bridge into Sandal retirement.
Sandal retirement.
They're living out on. They're always in the river. They're always in the river.
Okay, well, 3 votes away from a upset over the Chacos. That does not bode well necessarily for them.
All right, well, I hit perfect on Minto. I was perfect. This is good.
Yep, I went a little bit out on a limb with Brule, but they only lost by 3. I can't be that disappointed.
Pretty good showing from Brule in the Lakes Conference.
I have
promising future for the Lakes.
Moving down to Bike. Listening back to last year's episodes are a little cringy now that I know how you pronounce the name of that town so off. Into the Buke Conference, it's Bike.
Yeah,
there's literally a bike on the town's the name of the town sign. I have Thunder Point beating the Camp Slippers as the 6th seed, and I do have another upset here. I have a 14 seed, the Wool Shirts beating Curtain Falls, and then I've got Pizza Biters and of course the North Star Northwind 17.
Absolutely. Let me see here. I also have Thunder Point. Got to do a chee-hoo off the top of that thing.
Yes.
Chee! Woo! That was a muted chee-hoo.
I think we should all just start cheering for the cheese tacos. Thanks, Paul, for that.
Yeah.
Go cheese tacos.
Cheese tacos. Yes.
I think you've got the same exact.
I got wool. No, I've got wool.
I see
shirt.
something down there that's very interesting.
I got a wool shirt as well. Calling the 14 seed upset. I'm wearing a wool shirt. I will continue to wear a wool shirt every round in solidarity with my friends at the Wool Shirts. They will always keep you warm with good cheer and fibers. I did have the Pizza Biters destroying the Brown Volcano. #PBNation. Shout out. And then I went with Ensign Lake. Go Bears.
Wow. You went with a 15 over a 2. That is a gutsy pick.
Go Bears.
Let's see. Go Bears. Well, let's get into it. Oh, boy, we are both wrong off the get-go here.
Linda Kipsey likes her can slippers, Thunder Point goes down?
Thunder Point goes down.
It's not I don't know. I'm a little surprised. What was the score?
158 Camp Slippers, 120 Thunder Point.
Oh, not bad. Not bad.
Not bad.
A lot of people know about the special Thunder Point. It's interesting to see when now we have like individual like locations like this in lakes out in the tournament a little bit more prominently this year. How those teams are going to fare.
Yeah, so far no specific places have moved on. Seems like gear is more is happier.
People want the gear
and experiences.
That's why it's a power conference
and some critters.
All right.
Moving on, we are both correct in our vote for a 14 over a 3 upset. 150 for Wool Shirt, 127 Curtain Falls.
Nice, another close one there.
Camp Slippers versus Wool Shirt. Oof, what a matchup!
So
in the
cozy.
Round.
Definitely the coziest matchup possible. Wow, up there in Bike. I mean, throw another log on the fire, guys.
Throw another log on the fire. We've got the Camp Slippers out. We got the Wool Shirts on. And we've got the number 7 seed Pizza Biters.
Oh, wow.
Moving on, 174 over the Brown Volcanoes, 88. Nobody really knew what the Volcanoes were all about. Are they good? Are they? Do they even need to exist? They kind of existed in a realm of obscurity. Yeah. They were from the meme conference. You never really know what you're going to get from the memes.
Yeah, they always have existed. They always will exist. They just kind of are there. I don't know if you need to vote for them, but we've been ranking them, so
yeah,
they had a good shot there getting in. It was impressive. Maybe next year
they go down and they will meet the number 2 seed North Star Northwind 17s. 193 votes for that canoe. Whew. Ensign Lake 76. A bit of a blowout.
Well, good season for the Bears. A lot of these people are rolling these newfangled bear barrels. It's really putting a hurting on Ensign Lake.
Yep.
They just the pipeline they used to have for talent and snacks, it's dried up a little in recent years. So kind of surprising they actually made the tournament at all. But I don't know. I didn't have either Ensign or Northwind going far in my bracket. As no secret, I think the Pizza Biters are going to win that next round there, no matter who they're against. So it felt like an appropriate time to take a risk on Ensign and the Bears, maybe playing spoiler in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's when they play spoiler.
But everybody slept sound in the Northwind. So yeah. Good job. That's very impressive. 193 vote total there.
Yeah, I think. A pretty fun first round on the west side. No huge surprises. I guess the Dead Calm Reflections beating Fresh Blueberries to the extent that they did.
Yeah, Wool Shirt was the biggest, the lowest seed to move on. It looks like the 14 seed. And not really a blowout, but a strong 150 out of those Wool Shirts.
Yeah, they just outlasted the water levels in the boundary waters these days are lower than usual. So maybe the falls, maybe another 14 over a 3 on the east side. Grumman Canoe could overtake the Johnson Falls.
That one, surprisingly, I was back and forth on, and I can't even remember where I actually voted, but I know what I have on my my actual bracket here. So there's definitely a possibility I voted against my own interest in a few, but not in that close one. That close one, I was solid on all week. I knew what I was going for.
Nice.
All right.
Well, it's up to you now. We're switching over to the east. Atacocan. I've got the Min 2s moving on to meet the Lake Trouts. And then I've got Esox. Oh, sorry, no. I've got White Pine and Garmin InReach. I went full chalk in Atacocan.
This is stupid as heck. I had the Min 2, of course, over the dumb bucket hat.
Stupid as heck.
I went with Lake Trout over the leather boots, as I've already selected the Chacos. I have no need for leather boots. And I took the Esox Lucius. Go Pikes.
12.
So
nice.
toothy. And taking them over the white pine, that one I did go back and forth on. That one I had almost as much trouble as coffee v walleye later in the tournament. But you can see I had white pine at one point going to the Sweet 16, Eric.
Wow.
And then I decided, no, I'm gonna cross it off and go with pike there. And then hilariously, in what I last week said was my lock of the week, Garmin InReach. I decided I'm not down with the technology actually, and I wanted a frittata instead. I voted against my lock of the week.
Oh no!
I'm sure I'll be fine. Nobody's voting for the 13 seed frittata, although I do make a mean frittata whenever we and eventually start up our exclusive outdoor school / guiding service. Then
send us your children.
Send us your children, and we'll teach them how to make the frittata with the fresh dill. Fresh dill they make the tournament. Frittata's carrying fresh dill as kind of they have them as like on the equipment team. That's the equipment manager for frittata is fresh dill.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens, and is the case here. So I'm going with frittata. But yeah, I did call Garmin my lock of the week. I wasn't crazy about it after we hit record. I was like, any chance, Eric, you can like dub in a different lock of the week for me? I want to change my lock of the week. He said we can't. It was live streamed onto YouTube. Everybody saw it. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not too worried either way. If it's the first round lock of the week, who cares?
Yeah, let's just start in Anacoken before we get to your. Oh yeah, no, never
That's
mind.
in there. Anacoken, Ontario. First matchup, Winona Mintu flying, just flying down the lake. 202 to 59 over the bucket hat.
59 people voted.
59 people. That's just those. That's the people who comment. They're like, I wouldn't pedal a Mintu if my grandmother's life depended on it. They're trash. Those people that just, I don't know what kind of hate has to be in your heart to really be against any kind of canoe.
Right.
I voted for all the canoes except for the Ensign Lake guys. I went for Ensign. And it's not because I hate the Northwind, though. I wasn't going to have the Northwind go far because I'm picking them into. All right. But that's the 59 people who are like, I wouldn't. If everybody could be cured of COVID-19 tomorrow and all those people wouldn't have died, I still wouldn't vote for the Mintu. It's terrible in the waves. It's like, Jesus Christ, all right, we get it.
Yeah.
You don't like it.
Old Buckety gets stomped.
You can't handle the speed. That's what it comes down to. You can't handle the speed. Next up, 8-9 matchup, Lake Trout going to town, going to frickin' town on the leather boots.
I'm sure.
Oh, my God. 239 to 26.
Woo!
The Lake Trout say 9 seed. Never heard of them. Heard of them. Leather boots. Take your weight socks and go play in the mud.
Leather boots?
Oh, my God.
Never heard of them.
They had more votes than the men, too. Not surprised. But I'm impressed. I got to say.
Go Lakers.
Go Lakers. White Pine stomping the pike. Oh, it's even worse.
Oh, no.
No, it's not. It's a little bit. It's pretty bad, though.
The White Pine are through.
The White Pine are through. I should have stuck with my original intuition there. White Pine are through. 217 to 43. 273. What did I say? 217 to 43. Holy smokes. So the pike go down. Pike are down. They're not making it to the Sweet 16, turns out. At all.
Let's see about the Tatas.
So, I guess I wanted to see an eventual. It wasn't going to happen. Let's just move on. Garmin InReach. Oh, no. They're gone.
Oh, they're
gone.
The Tatas won?
The Tots win.
Whoa!
Oh, no. The Frittatas are through.
Tata Nation. Get
Lock
on
of the
board.
Week rescinded.
Get on board.
Shoot. Yeah, it was a close one. 130 to 123.
Wow.
Nice.
I'm excited, even though
I don't even know which way I actually voted on this one. I can't remember. I was so scrambled.
I voted for InReach, and I picked them in my bracket. Frittata moves on. That's exciting. We have a Frittata White Pine matchup.
I've never been so happy to have my lock of the week busted.
Yeah.
Somebody took a crowbar of fresh dill to that thing.
Hashtag save the Tatas. That's a different hashtag, I think. We could get that going. Let's send some money towards that.
Cool. I almost peaked. I almost went ahead.
All right.
We're moving on to Grand Portage.
Grand Portage. Who'd you have?
Going into Grand Portage, I have, of course, don't need the Mackenzie area. Voted for Fisher, and I love a good cast iron. I went with cast iron there. next up, with Johnson Falls over the Grumman canoe. I guess my statement that I voted for all the canoes is now proven quite false.
Mhm.
I've only so far voted for the Min 2. Why would you need 2 different canoes? But I went with Johnson Falls as a 3 over the 14. And then we had Wolf Howl versus Rainfly. And this one was tough too. I ultimately decided, how many times have you actually heard a wolf howl on a trip? Maybe out of like 10 trips. Maybe you get one of those trips you hear a wolf howl. It's always cool. Maybe not even that many.
No, I would say that would be 10% of the time.
Yeah.
No.
I don't even know if it's that. I think it's so rare. And I'd be willing to get rained on hard if I could guarantee like I'd get a legit close in wolf howl. Are we still recording? So I went with Wolf Howl there, and then in the zip off pants, everybody knows I'm gonna go with Bacon over zip off pants. Go Bacon.
Yeah.
Sizzle.
Sizzle. I've got the Mackenzie Maps moving on over Cast Iron.
Okay.
I've got Johnson Falls over the Grummans. I've got Rainfly over Wolf Howls, but man, that's tough. Now that you explain it the way you did. And then, of course, I have Bacon. I do see the Zippies putting up a pretty good fight, though. I can't wait to see the vote totals on to see the fighting Zippies coming in strong.
I really don't think Wolf Howl is going through. I'd be surprised, really surprised, but you never know. Cast Iron wins. I'm surprised about this, honestly. I just voted with my gut, and I don't know, it is a higher seed, but I wanted Cast Iron through. I did not think they were going through. People love their Mackenzie Maps. They love to be zoomed in.
I had the Mackenzies into the Sweet 16.
I want 9 maps for that 4-mile trip. Mackenzie Maps goes down 143 to 120 for Cast Iron.
That's a close one.
That's pretty close. It was a close one. Yeah, I did not think Cast Iron was getting through there. Oh, man. Johnson Falls just shreds the Grumman canoe. Threw it right over the first fall. Second fall, the third fall of the thing's in 2 pieces somehow. Johnson Falls. Oh boy. 194 to 62. Holy moly. That one was not close at all.
Here we go. The 710. This is going to be fun.
Oh man, it is the Rainflies. The Rainflies keeping you dry. 154 to 109 over the Howlies.
Close matchups.
Yeah, a lot of close matchups so far. 154 to 109 was the score there. Rainflies are through.
Who are they going to see? Bacon?
And I gotta think Bacon's gonna get it. And Bacon did get it. Oh, they're so tasty. The smells, they'll pull you right out of your hammock in the morning. You smell that. 187 to 79. Respectable showing for the Rainflies. They held with them good in the first half. But then as the Bacon continued to crisp up and sizzle, they zipped their legs back on and actually just conceded and said, well, can we have some bacon? So they're in. Actually, they're just joined in on Team Bacon at the end, which was nice to see.
The longer that bacon cooks, the harder they get to play. There you go.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes.
Well, there's a potential. They're only a couple of rounds removed from a Cast Iron Bacon matchup.
I'll go ahead and preview that. I definitely have that as my prediction. Cast Iron versus Bacon in the Sweet 16 would be so poetic. If it doesn't happen, I think I might cry on live video next week. But I'm happy that it's even a chance because I could have seen it. You know, the Mackenzies spoiling that. There's a lot of tasty potential second round and then especially Sweet 16 matchups out there that could happen if the voters, don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up.
I need a sip before we moving on. We're down to Ambrose Homestead in the most anticipated matchup of the entire first round. The excitement is palpable. Oh, my God.
We're into the wilderness bracket in Ambrose, Homestead, and Isle of Pines.
Yeah, these are the remote ones. This is a qualifier for other tournaments. But I don't know. Other tournaments should be a qualifier to even make predictions at the Ambrose Homestead. It should be a reverse qualifier.
Yeah, I think this was maybe the toughest voting for me. This whole quarter of the bracket.
Absolutely. We had I felt like a pretty easy one to start, but then everything after that first matchup on Ambrose Homestead was very back and forth for me.
Yeah, for sure. I had Moose over the Kayaks, of course.
Of course. I did as well. How are you going to not pick the Moose? Hey, talking about rare things like a wolf owl, like I haven't seen a live moose in probably almost 2 years at this point. What's going on?
I don't know.
Why are you hiding from me, moose? I'm your friend.
I had the cameras overtaking the Surus rivers.
I did too. See, I completely voted against all other watercraft.
I voted for all the canoes.
I love canoes. I love watercraft and boats. No, I hate you. I hate you, kayak and Surus River, and I'm voting against you.
Yep.
Go Min2s. You only need one boat. There was a lot of, it's a tough conference. They're my favorite. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna vote for my favorite watercraft, and that's how it goes.
Who did you have in the infamously difficult to choose walleye as a 5 versus coffee as a 12?
Yeah, I ended up going with walleye as the 5 seed. I would much rather, again, if I was on a trip, this is how I end up justifying the vote. If I'm on a trip and it's, morning, I get up and I can go guarantee I'm going to get a walleye and a slip bobber out of camp, or I have a cup of coffee. I'm going to take the walleye every single morning. I can go without coffee. And catching a walleye, really cool.
Yeah, you can have coffee at home, but I still went with coffee.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I have coffee every morning.
Yeah.
I don't catch a walleye every day. That's for sure. So that's how I ended up voting for it. I think they're going to win, but I think that one's going to be really close.
It's going to be close. I can't wait to see who makes it out of that first round matchup. And then I, of course, had the Wool Sox stomping a good book, because good book never performs. They show up and it's just like, man, why are you here?
Why did I even bring this book?
Why are you here?
I didn't even read one chapter. I think the last time I actually read and finished a book on a trip was The Little Prince, which that book is like 14 pages with illustrations.
Yeah.
So bring a short book if you're going to bring a good book. But it's kind of that one is also just kind of a meme conference pick at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Good book. That wasn't the original board game. Did not make the second version of the board game at all. I also went with Wool Sox there. I like anything wool, and I hope they make it through.
Well, let's see.
Alrighty. Moose. 254 to 12 votes for the kayaks. The kayak people and the cell phone tower people can go do like a Namakagon River trip instead of coming to the Boundary Waters. Take that. What are you voting against Moose for? You nuts?
I think Moose is going deep.
All right. I think they are too. I have them going deep. All right. Camera or Surus River? I think we both said camera.
Let's do it.
And the cameras are through 178 to 81. 178. Very strong.
Nice showing from the cameras. They made their presence known last year, being underappreciated. I believe they were in this actual bracket last year as a 13, upsetting the X-Raps and only losing by 1 to Fillet Knife to go on to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I can see them going.
I think they have that ambition and that drive. I think they're going to give Moose a run for their money. They know that getting out of that second round is key for them, and they're not going to want to go back-to-back second-round losses.
Absolutely not, but I mean, the Moose, oh boy, the Moose are tough.
They are.
I like Moose versus camera, though. What do you want to have in your hand when you see a moose? Put the camera down and just enjoy the moose.
Just enjoy the moose.
You're not going to get a good picture
for what it is.
All right, the big one. Walleye versus coffee. Who we got? Any predictions on the thread? I don't see a whole lot of talk on the thread about the walleye coffee, but it was the talk of Reddit and Facebook all week. Oh, coffee's through.
Whoa.
Coffee's through, and it wasn't particularly close. It's a little close. 146 to 118.
Wow.
Good night, Sweet Prince.
Good night, Sweet Prince. I nailed the 12 vote. I cannot wait. I've got them going another round as well.
Wow, all right. Yeah, coffee is great. I mean, I'm not disappointed. I knew it was going to be close. You've already heard my explanation. And Wool Sock, putting the book to bed. Wool Sock is through 220 to 43.
I think this
easy peasy.
I think this might be the last year that a good book makes the tourney.
Nah. Well, they're a 13. They're a 13 seed for a reason. The book conference. I'd rather see a good book make it through than like a dirty romance novel. Maybe not. Maybe next year we'll get a romance novel.
Yeah.
All right.
A disgusting book.
A choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
A throbbing romance novel.
hard as rosewood abs.
What's wrong with you? Dylan, what's wrong with you? You're the monster.
Hey, we didn't make these. We voted on them. Sorry, it's just the truth.
I did vote. I did vote twice, and it's not helping. All right, we're moving on to the final location of first round coverage on Tumble Home Sports Network. Thank you for being here for the first round live results. Isle of Pines. We're going to Isle of Pines, and Knife Lake is one of the top seeds in this section. I pretty excited to see. I'm jumping around a little bit. I expect Knife Lake to get through against the Muck Boots.
I do too. I have them.
No doubt. So yeah, I end up going with Chacos and not voting for Muck Boots or Leather Boots. I said no boots for me. No boots. I'm on Wet Foot Nash this year. It's 50 degrees out there. No, you can just skip right past the muddy boot season and go right to sandals. Knife Lake in the Isle of Pines region, especially, I don't see them losing. How did you feel about the ugly stick fishing pole versus those ripe avocados, the darlings of Selection Sunday?
I'd really love to see Coach Citrus get his crew together, but I don't see the ugly sticks losing this matchup, just considering how well fishing pole did last year.
I know, and they were the only fishing pole to make it this year.
It's a tough matchup. I think in any other case, they might have gotten out of the first round, but I don't see them.
It turns out they were happy to be here, and they had to go in the frittata. Morning one. So I had ugly stick as well. And then two of my favorite teams in the whole tournament, looking at a round two matchup for me, I had Silky Boy over the cribbage boards. A lot of people were claiming the saw was just going to saw those cribbage boards right in half. You're not getting any 29 hands against that team. And then I also went with the Milky Ways over the Lagomorphs. So that does set up for me one of the ones I'm anticipating, and I might cry if it doesn't happen. The Silky versus Milky in the second round. I swear to God, voters, if you let me down, I'm quitting the podcast. That's my lock of the week.
Yeah, if we don't get Silky v. Milky.
If we don't get Silky versus Milky, I straight up might not be here next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go for a long walk. Ugly Stick Fishing Rod wins 184-73 over the Avocados. That's a pretty good and impressive result. 184. Very nice. Ugly Stick is through.
Are we going to get a lake through?
I think we got it, right? Yeah, Knife Lake is through.
Big
Lake? Time. Big time. The only lake to make it. Knife Lake, 194 over the Muck Boots, 63. 194-63. That's a big win for Knife Lake.
Here we go.
Love to see it. You love to see it. Thunder Point didn't get it. We had a couple items out there on Knife. Silky Boys are through over they sawed the shit out of that cribbage board. 169-89. Silky is through. That one, I guess, was the only one. I don't know why I'm even worried. I shouldn't be worried.
I had a pretty good feeling that Silky was making it through.
Yeah, I don't think people like Lagomorphs.
There was also a little bit of flack on the cribbage board even.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I haven't played.
Guys, you just bring a euchre deck. You just play euchre. Yeah, we have a strong contingent of Wisconsinites listening to this.
Yeah, euchre is a great game. So it's up and down the river.
Don't get me started on sheep.
Or dice, all right? Yeah, we're not playing. All right, the Milky Way is through, and it's a big-time vote. 236-28 for the Milky Ways.
Nice.
236. I think that might be our second highest. Only the Northern Lights garnered more votes than the Milky Ways. 28 for the mighty Lagomorphs. They got.
They didn't show up in numbers. That's the problem.
Yeah, they must have got them. A poor breeding year for them. I don't think they ever stood a chance though. So thank God I don't have to quit the podcast. That was close.
Thank God.
Because I really like doing it. I have a lot of fun with it, and I love this tournament. It's really the highlight of it's really, the spring is beginning when you're doing the tournament. You get these hot days out there and the sun just beaming down on that snow. I think I'm going to go shovel some snow around to areas that don't have as much snow after the show just to get it to melt more.
Yeah, that is a fun northern pastime. Are you shoveling? Yeah, I'm shoveling it onto the hot pavement and or gravel so it melts faster.
Yeah, that's right. Boy, I have not finished this vanilla porter in the whole show here.
I killed mine. I need another beer to finish up our final thoughts on the round of 64. We're down to the round of 32. Voting is up if you're listening whenever.
It's true. Yeah,
As
you
long
can vote
as-
right now for round 2, and then it will go through Sunday again.
It'll go through next Sunday at midnight. We're gonna post it on. I snuck our tourney back into RBWCA. Did you see that?
I did not. I haven't been on that subreddit in a while.
Yeah. So I'm gonna post
Did
it.
it get ripped?
No, it got like 30 upvotes, of course, because people love the Tumble tourney. It's a great spring pastime.
Oh, that's nice. I thought for sure they'd just take the post down.
No,
Or not let it go up at all.
no. But I
Alright,
like. I mean,
Cool.
I know.
Namaste.
I'd like to get a little bit more in the field analysis from our team by team.
Yeah, now that we've kind of like got to the serious teams,
Yeah.
into round 2, these are all teams that could win it, I would say. There's a lot of pretenders in round 1, a good book. And some of these other ones that, barely even made a dent. Poor Brown Volcanoes, they didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance at all. But, everybody that makes it to round 2, I think, has the potential to win. And now there was a couple here where I would have been shocked had it gone the other way. But now there's no more like, oh, I'm shocked next week. Like anything could happen, and I would never threaten to quit the show because it'd just be foolish. I mean, we know from last year's tournament and now through round 1 here and just in general, like monitoring people's comments on the various threads, kind of where the pulse is in the people listening to this podcast and where their hearts lie. And their hearts never lie.
Yeah, so based on the results from the first round, do you have any first thoughts, some interesting matchups that you'd like to talk more on, some potential I feel there's a groundswell on Team Frittata, #save the Tatas. I actually see a pretty good matchup between them and the White Pines.
I guess the one I'm least excited about is Gravity Filter versus Chair. 2 things that are important, not very exciting things.
Well, yeah, that was like last year. There was what was like Camp Stove versus Canoe Pack.
Yeah.
It was like, all right.
And one of them's getting through.
Yeah.
One of them is going to make it to the Sweet 16, and I'm not like super excited about either one of them. But again, they're essential. You need those things on a trip. I'm a little mad though. I'm still mad about the slip bobbers getting bounced.
Yeah,
and it took away the potential for a slip and dip in the Sweet 16. And that one I can forgive, but it would have been fun.
Yeah.
I'm a little shocked at how few votes Long John's got. I guess if people thought they were donuts instead of a warming, soothing base layer of comfort, that the feeling that never leaves you once you're in camp. I was a little disappointed, but not surprised. Again, the tent voters are very strong. People love their tents. They love to feel safe. They love the illusion of being in a house while they're camping. I will never understand it ever again as long as I live. Tents, it's literally a paper house. It's an illusion, just like our entire monetary system and everything else, really. Cell phone towers too. It's all just a bunch of magic in the air, Eric. I don't know. One that I'm very excited about on the flip side of that is the super cozy matchup we got going on with the Camp Slippers making it in. Where are we at here? I can't find them.
Wool Shirt versus Camp Slippers.
Yeah, it's Wool Shirt and Camp Slippers.
The 11 versus 14.
Oh, they're down there in Pike. I see. I see. Yeah, that one I can't get enough of. And then, no matter which one gets through, I would assume they're going to be going up against the Pizza Biters.
You think Biters are taking out the North Star Northwind 17s, huh?
I do.
They went out in the second round last year to the Rainflies, I believe.
Every year I get my hopes up for the Pizza Biters and PB Nash, and then every year my hopes are dashed. The Pizza Biters are kind of like the Packers of losing NFC Championship games. They just do it every year. They just lose when you think they're going to win. The defense doesn't show up. Their delicious cheese filling gets a little cool, or their shell gets just a little too burnt, and they're just not as good in the second round as they are in the first round. And every year I go for it again, and then I get my mouth a little burnt.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
I'm kind of for about 2-3 days there. Why did I do this to myself again? Why biters?
I won't get into too many predictions, but yeah, I'd love to see the biters move on. My most interesting matchup in the second round is the Dead Calm Reflections versus Skinny Dipping, I think.
Yeah, that one's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a battle versus Stability and, raining threes. We'll see what kind of a defense prevails in that kind of a matchup. It's two conflicting styles.
Now that we know the second round matchups too, and the serious teams, we can kind of like develop the stories about these teams a little bit more too.
Mhm.
It's not so much like what happened, but what happened within the what happened.
Yeah.
The game within the game, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to talk too much about Coach Christian Birkeland and KP Index. They continue. I think they sat KP Index in the back half of that matchup.
They didn't even play the second half. I think
they just rubbed down like virgin milk on the arms of KP Index, and in preparation for, I'm assuming, a blowout over the Tents.
They got a new kid on that team. Reverse Polarity is really nuts, and they just like fed. He's like 8 foot.
They were out this week.
Just feeding them, and the KP was up. The actual KP was up this week, and Northern Lights were spotted up here. So the cell phone tower has been monkey wrenched and brought down, and we'll never be back. I don't think we'll ever see that one back.
No,
that might be a one and done for them.
That was a monkey wrench of a 16 seed. Somebody monkey wrenched the voting to get them in.
How are you doing on your I'm not looking so much at the second round because I did pick a lot of like on purpose upsets that I didn't have going far. But like, how's your Sweet 16? And like, as far as I could definitely say all my Final Four teams are still in. As far as the Sweet 16, I only lost Slip Bobber, and I did lose Pike. Otherwise, my entire Sweet 16 is intact, which is good. I had Slip Bobbers going to the Elite Eight. They're the only Elite Eight team I lost. That was just silly in hindsight, but I didn't have them going to the Final Four or anything. So
yeah, my entire
not too worried there.
Elite Eight is still set up. The only Sweet 16 teams I lost was Edibles, and Mackenzie Map. Had them just out of the map conference. Some disappointment over the underrepresentation of other maps going deep, but that's I guess why you play the game, and I guess maybe we're right. Mackenzie maps do in fact suck.
Too close.
Yep,
too close.
You got a lock of the week for next week before we close out this first round coverage. Second round coverage voting is open. Link is in the show notes of this podcast, or if you're watching online, which, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but we'll put the links in there as well. All of the places to link. Don't forget to vote. A lot of times we saw last year, we had huge voting in the first round, and then it just slowly tapered off. That might just be because, my team's not in it anymore. I'm not going to vote, but
I think most people's teams are in it, other than the poor fools who voted for the green-eared sunfish. They're not real. We're joking.
Yeah,
we're joking. Sorry about that. My lock of the week. I'm kind of debating between two here, but I want to pick one that I'm actually a believer in, not one that I just think that I don't want to try and follow the crowds here.
Mm-hmm.
Thought people like their technology. I was wrong. Garmin InReaches have gone home. I'm going to go with one I actually truly believe in, and that I have picked on my own bracket. I'm going with the 14 seeds Wool Shirt. In the cozy matchup, I'm going to say the Wool Shirt over the 11 seed Camp Slippers. That's my warm, and the warmth is incredible. It's my lock of the week.
Your soft lock.
That's my soft lock.
Chunk.
Feels so good.
My hard chunk. Lock of the week. I'm going out on a limb. I'm taking Lake Trout over Min 2 next week.
Woo!
My lock of the week. Go Lakers. I don't even know what their scientific name is. I'm gonna have to figure that out and come up with the big sign for them next week.
Yeah, we need some Latin on the show.
That's my first one bounced from the Tourney prediction.
Wow.
Go
impressive.
Lakers.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, there's a lot of. Did any of the other? Northwind made it, and the Sewers River got bounced though. So really, there's only 2 watercraft left:
Yeah.
the Northwinds and the Min Twos. So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be like some, vindictive voting against the Min Two by the people who had selected other watercraft that were disappointed.
I just feel like it's the matchup. It's not necessarily anything against the Min 2.
Yeah.
I feel like Lake Trout, it's just,
I don't know.
go Lakers. There we go. Salvinius Nemekush.
Nemekush.
How do you not vote for a team with something that rolls
Well,
off the tongue just like that?
I'm going to say usually after you're done fishing, you don't fillet up your canoe and eat it. The next day you still have the canoe and you have a nice full belly.
Okay.
No, I'm going to say the canoe is going to move on, but I like the bold pick, and I do love lake trout. A couple more weeks left of the season. I did pick up some dead schmelt the other day in town, and I'm trying to find a day where I can get out and throw some dead bait in about 100 feet of water on the bottom. Just see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I'm excited. We've got another fun week of voting ahead. Another 2 solid weeks of full week voting, and then just an FYI, the Final Four and championship, that'll be condensed both into 1 week for a finale Saturday night.
Yeah,
live
prime
time. But yeah, like the first Monday, Tuesday of March Madness back in the day used to be like I snuck in. This was before the internet. Like, I can't believe I can say that I grew up in middle school and high school, like before the internet. I snuck in one of those like Sony Walkman, little tiny handheld black and white TVs with the massive antenna.
Oh yeah.
I would sneak that into school in my big old cargo short pant like pockets, and then go to the bathroom and like turn it on to check the scores.
Wow.
And I remember I was the commissioner of the prediction brackets. So I printed them all out and I would give them to people, and they made their predictions for $5. And I had to like keep track of like 80 brackets where I'd go through and I'd be like Xing out, circling, and then keeping track of who won. Like, I was essentially watching TV and running an illegal gambling ring in high school. So it's no wonder that I've the confluence of love of brackets and competition and the guessing / betting and the Boundary Waters have found themselves conjoined into this disgustingly beautiful tournament that is the Tumble Tourney. Happy to be here. Cannot wait for more.
Absolutely. All right. For Tumble Home, Boundary Waters podcast, and Tumble Home Sports Network, coming to you live from the sports desk here in Studio K on a beautiful Monday morning on the North Shore. Monday afternoon now. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody who streamed and commented during the show. Thank you for everybody who voted. Most importantly, got to have those votes for this tournament to be a thing, and it's fun that people care and like want to get in on this. We do have real March Madness this year, I guess, but I haven't really looked at those brackets yet. But we are still the last tourney standing. They're back, but we never stopped. We're still here, and longest running tournament in North America and probably the whole entire universe.
Yeah, we'd love your insights on your predictions, thoughts on the second round matchups and potential matchups moving forward. We will post everything that needs to be posted, as far as I can tell, on all of the relevant places. I cannot remember the name of this person, but I will send you an email. But if you're listening, make us a One Shining Moment chiptune.
Oh, yes. That would be great. Yeah, that would really be fun.
Yes. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. Bye. Wait. I gotta
click find we need the music there. Dead Calm Reflections. What if Dead Calm Reflections win? Would you be shocked?
No, I would not be shocked.
Like the complete opposite of Northern Lights. Dead Calm Reflections.
Go Lakers!
The people have changed. They're somber. They're a somber bunch. I need another beer. Oh boy. Yeah. Fill this bracket up. Get some kicks.